Alright, so there are a lot of commands here that are that have a lot of information with them. And so you might not, like, there's a lot of times where you don't quite remember everything about every command. So one thing you can do is run this quick tac help, and that will run a that will show you some basic information about a command, so that you can look, for example, some of the basic options that come with that. And almost every single command is going to have a help page. That's pretty standard. And it will explain to you basically what all the flags are, some basic usage, some basic information about it. And you can always find more documentation on the GNU.org website for these core utils, and often other third parties will have longer documentation other places as well. So there are some bigger ones. For example, IP. This is, a relatively long man page, and this is using Vim key bindings. So if you want to move up and down, you have to use J and K. You can also use the up and down arrows, but I find J and K to be easier. And if you want to search through this, you have to use slash, and then it will highlight what you're searching for, and you can hit N to move to the next entry, P to move to the previous. And that's the basics of how to use and search through a man page. To exit, you just hit the letter K. Next is a sort of, and if we go to man, which is, kind of funny, you can read through this and find some interesting information, but there are there's this here. So man tac K. Let's just use the option that they did, printf. What this will do is print a whole bunch of information to the terminal. And this is just, it searches through all the man pages and looks for this printf string, so you can find related to commands. You can use the exact same, it's equivalent to this apro, this apropos, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. It's more or less the same as this. Well, no, it's exactly the same as this, which, as you can see, I just changed it from tar, or changed it from to tar. And as you can see, it's the exact same format, and you can just look through everything that is sort of related to tar. Often I find this to be really too much information, so I rarely use man tac K or apropos. Mainly I find Google to be much easier. But let's go back to man. We can see there are a few different these numbers, which doesn't make which might be a little confusing, but there are different man pages, so you can think of them like different folders. The most common ones are 1, 5, and 8 in my experience. Those are very it's common to find the sort of commands in those. And you can see up here it's man 1. Now, I didn't define which man page to use. It kind of picked one. So say there's duplicate information, which I believe. So there's man 1 printf. Is there a man 5? can't remember, but so if there's duplicate information, you might need to specify which man page you want to go to. For example, if I want to go to the IP entry in the 8th man page, I just type in man 8 IP, and it will bring me here. And as we can see, 8 is system administration, so IP really does fit in there pretty simply. Next, say you're looking at a command and you just don't know what it is. If you just want a quick synopsis, you can use this man-tech-f command, and it will give you a little description, and it will tell you what man page it's on. Now, all of this is stored in what's called the man DB, and what running this man DB command will do is it will just update the the manual pages for that for on your local system. Now, if you're curious, all of that information is stored in this user shared doc. So, for example, VLC, we can see some stuff in here. We can see like readme.txt, for example. Let's find an example of something we already let me just find a quick better example. For instance, like probably sudo has some good examples. Yeah, so sudoers is so let's do man sudo.conf. This is in the 5th man page, which was system administration, or file formats and conventions, rather. That's my bad. And that's because sudo.conf is a file. And here we can see the man page, which is it's a pretty normal looking man page, but user share doc sudo examples sudo.conf. As we can see, this is the exact same file. So the files for these man pages are often stored in this user share doc directory, and that's just kind of where it's stored. So that's the basics of command line help. If you need help for just about anything else, I would recommend what's called the Arch Linux Wiki, and here you can search for whatever you want, and there's a whole lot of information about it. Now, this is specific to Arch, so there are other things like the Ubuntu Wiki will be specific to Ubuntu. So if you're using this, and for example you want to look up something specific to Debian-based distributions, you would have to do it here. But if it's a general sort of Linux thing that's used in a lot of different distributions, what you can do is use the Arch Wiki, and this will just provide a lot of information. One thing is, whenever you see something like Pacman, that is the package manager for Arch, and it's not quite you have to find out how to install that package on your own system and sort of your own in a different way. But most of the stuff like grep is on everything. So there's just I find a lot of information in this wiki, but of course there are plenty of other options. But for me personally, the Arch Wiki is my go-to for all things information when I'm searching on Google and not the command line. And of course, there are, like the Ubuntu forums, as it is recommending to me, there's a lot of, let me just click through and get to something. Often you'll find answers in a forum post similar to this, which, one thing I will say is only post, if you're posting questions, only do it on the actual operating system that you're doing the forums on. I know a lot of wikis and forums have problems with people posting that aren't even using the operating system. So if you're using Red Hat, don't post on the Ubuntu forums. But that is it for sort of the basics of how to find help for commands on the command line, and then some common websites used for a little further information.